Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to see how to create a freehand image cropper using Flutter, and which will be supported on all the platforms. So the plugins today we are going to use are image picker, obviously to pick the images. It is, I don't know it is how many platforms it supports. Other two plugins are screenshot and file saver. So these are the plugins which are supported by all the platforms. So if let me just check if it can check image picker. Okay, so image picker is supported by Android, iOS, web, but in case if you can create or manage, so the cropper will be created. It is not the part of cropper, it is just for selecting the image. Okay, so here you can see it is a completely blank, simple, basic starter app. So let's just clear this up. We will create some basic file structure for our app today. So there will be 5 files. First is main.dart, other is image cropper, one more is image selector, other is custom clipper, and one more is custom painter. So today we are going to start with custom clipper.dart today. So this is the basic clipper which will clip the image according to the path we send to it. So these are the basic overrides which are need to be created. Okay, so here ensure it should read clip, we have to just throw false. Okay, so let's just rename them because here in get clip, here we are supposed to return a path. So for that we have to first create a list of offsets. Which we are going to use, and here we have to create a new path. And we are going to return this path to our clipper. Here we are going to first check if our point list is empty or not. And if it is not empty, then we are going to move the starting pointer to our initial or starting coordinates. After that, for every other point in this list, we are just going to join them. And after that we have to close the path using path.close. So what here happening is, first we are just checking if path is present on if the list is empty or not. If it's not empty, then we are going to start the clipper to move the starting point of clipper to the starting point of the list which according to which we want to get the image clipped. And then we are just going to join the dots one by one in the sequence, and at the end, to join the two ends of our list, we are going to use path.close. Now we are going for custom painter. Okay. Here we are also going to create our custom painter, because we want to paint the UI or the image on our canvas, and also we have to paint the coordinates which we want to show. Like if user has touched the point, then in the initial video you have seen that the red dots follow to the thumb or to the pointer. So to draw those red points or to manage those red points, we are going to use our custom painter. So here you have to import dart UI as UI. Here in should repaint, it should just return true. Okay, so there are some basic requirements. First is we require image. Then we require height. The height is required to customize the size of the red dots according to the size of image. so you can just use them, or you can just fix some value, but I think fixing value will be a bit wrong, because that might just make UI ugly. Because if the image is large or have more pixels, then it will become more difficult for you to manage those. Okay. There are few more, like here also we have to use those same point list. Okay, in paint, so we are just going to start by drawing an image. And here we will provide the offset as the starting point of the canvas, that is 0, 0. Then we are just going to again check. Then we are just going to check if the list is empty or not. And if it is needed to be cropped, so this is not required to check if the cropping is required or not, but I am just doing it for the purpose to just avoid those extra red marks while the cropping part will be shown, because at that time the screenshot of the widget will be taken. So to avoid that, I am just avoiding the crop part. So we are anyways not able to see those, because we are just going to switch those widgets. But just in case if you are planning to use same widget, so you can just do this thing. You can just check. So for that part, while I was just testing, so I just created that. You can avoid this, it's not required anyways. It's just here for extra safety, just so that app doesn't crash further. So here we are going to use point mode dot polygon. Here we are going to use point list. And here I'm just using this paint argument to create those red dots of stroke with 3, so you can just adjust if you want those. So this is just connecting those. So what will happen is, just like we saw in the cropper part, we were just joining whole list from start to end, point by point, and here we are just joining them using this draw line function. And again we have to join other parts. Okay, so instead of this, just like I told you, that we are using this height part to change those things, to manage these things. So here you can just manage this thing by using the image.height divided by height, so to get the ratio. So I'm just using 20 times of it. So what I have done is, I have just by mistakenly in my testing part I have just used the white one, okay, white one also and the red one also, but the obviously the white one will not be visible because the red one will override it and white one will be very small to fight with it. So you can just keep both of them, like you can rewrite this part and again keep the white one, or you can just do like I am telling you to do here. Okay, so now we are done with image custom painter. So let's just move to image selector here. This will obviously be a stateful widget, so we just name it image checker, because we will also check if the image is selected by the user or not. So just for that purpose it is named like that. Yeah, just like I told you, in our pubspec.yaml only the image picker is not the multi-platform supporter, but you can just but anyways cropper supports, so you just don't have to worry. You can just download the image or use other ways of input to take the image as in to take or accept the image. Okay, so we are just going to create some variables. Is image resized and is first. And there will be one more variable to it. So I don't know we are going to use this part or not, but I am just keeping it, because if I will just explain why we created these two variables, the crop image and the is image resized. So before that we have to create a function to load the images or to take the images input. So the majority of the some part of code, you might say that you can avoid that. That's completely okay. You can optimize this code. This is basically brought to you from one of my internships. So the majority of the code you might find that it's not completely optimized or some part can be removed. Definitely you can do those things. So this is something which I designed for my internship, and I am just sharing this code with you. Okay, so this function is basically to take the input from image. So we will use dialog. So first of all we have to remove that dialog. Then we are going to use completer. So completer is basically a replacement for await. So instead of await, or instead of making the whole system wait, you can use the completer and keep the system working fine, and just handle the case if the function is done or it is not done. So here we are just checking if we are going to pick it from gallery. You can, just as I told, this is not the completely optimized code, so here you can use many other methods, just like you can use, instead of boolean, you can use image source. Even that would work to compare. Similarly, we are just going to do the same for else part. but instead of, we will change the source, and here at the end we are just going to return the completer.future. So you can read more about completer in on the Dart website. It is basically a function or a member, I can say, an object or a class of a async library. So there you can find more about it. So this is the function resize image. So it just namesake, it is not anything resizing or something. It just I just named it as a resize image just to handle between the condition where the image will not be selected by the user till now, and to shift between the condition where image is selected or the input is received from the user. You can just name it anyway, anything. So now we are going to write code for our alert dialog box. So here in builder we are going to use alert dialog. Here just my title will be of select image, then we are going to provide a content using single child scroll view. Here we are going to use gesture detector. On tab we are just simply going to set some variables and use image cropper function or the function we created to we are going to use load image or resize image function. Basically we are going to use resize image because it calls load image and uses completer, so that there is no load or there is no waiting on our user side. Here the extra things you can see, these are just cases for where cases for the different cases. So which some are for, like if user selects another image for cropping, so for that part these variables are created and set or used again. Similarly, we are just going to create the same one for our camera. Yeah, in between we are just going to add a size box of height 20. Now here we are going to create a widget or a function which returns a widget. So here you can see the names in this part are not optimal. So it says image decider, but it's not an image decider, it's just if to return a container or just to return the image, just like I told initially. To handle the time where the image is not selected by the user, and later handle the case where image is selected by the user. So here we have to create one more function called images. So yeah, this is for the part where we have started the process of accepting the input, but the process is yet not completed. So it is the part where completer is working. And this is the part where if we receive the cropped image from our next screen or the child screen, like cropper screen, So now it's just time to enter our build function. So it is obviously going to be a scaffold. Okay, let me just add some part to it. Okay, so we are just going to create an icon here to select the image from user to accept the input, and then we are going to start writing for body. Here in this part we are going to show the image and the button to move on to further processes, or I mean to the cropper screen. There's just a container which will show the image. So before that we have to just manage the height. So just by trial and error, it's not fixed, you can optimize this. Yeah, and in child we are going to show the image. This will be a sync process. If the image file is not null, then we are just going to use okay, so I'm just pasting some of this part because this is seriously not necessary. It's just the part of routing. We will create this widget in few minutes. So here we are just going to see the crop part of the image. So now this is done. We will come back to this after the cropper is created. So let's just get back to the cropper. So again here we have to just import UI as UI, and now we are going to create a stateful widget. Basically even names are not optimized because this video was created in a bit hurry, So sorry for that. Many things aren't optimized, so you can optimize it on your side. Just it will work fine. If in case you face any errors, just comment down below. I will fix it, or I will make another video. Basically this code works. I've tested this multiple times, but just in case you face something issue, we will work on it. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, so yes, we are ready to start now. Here we are going to create a list, point list. Okay. Then we are just going to use a boolean crop image. A screenshot controller to screenshot the crop part. Here again we are going to use completer. So his image loaded boolean should not be a wonder why it is. Okay. Here this is a rotation to control the rotation. I think in video it might. Okay, I will add that in video. Don't worry. So here we are going to first create a init function. We are just going to create this because we can't make init state async. So now we are going to create load image, which will, this is the async function actually. Here we are going to create a completer. If you want more links to the completer, just comment down. I will add those links to the description. So if you want to learn more about them, definitely, or if you want something more, I will make that. So here we are going to destructure the image. So now we are going to call init function in init state. So obviously we have to now define init state. Okay, just got me covered then. So now we are going to create a function called build image. Okay, so let's start. If the image is loaded, then we are obviously going to return the image, and if it's not, then we are just going to return the text loading. And let's just start for if the image is loaded. So what all things we are going to do. So here we are using rotated box to control it using rotation. Then we are going to use fitted box because we want to use the size box as a child to control the image size on the screen. So we are obviously going to mark the height and width same as that of image. Now if the image is ready to be cropped, then we are going to do so. So we are going to use the screenshot, which take the screenshot of that state in which the image will be clipped by the clip path, and using our custom clipper. Okay, so what's the issue? Okay, it should be points list. Yeah, great. And to this clip to this clip path, we are going to add a child that will be our image. And if we don't want to crop, we are going to use custom paint to show our widget. Okay, so I think only this few paths. Okay, so this is to be, yeah. So here, instead of the size of image, we are going to return the width of our screen to adjust the size of the croppers. So once this is done, we are going to provide it as a child of gesture detector. So here I am not doing it for on pan start, I am just doing it for on pan update. The reason behind is, if someone taps, we don't want that part to be added to the cropper. So we just want the part where the user really wants to crop that part. So that will be only done if user just drags their finger on the screen. So that's the reason. Okay, so just wait a minute. Great. So you don't need this. Okay, instead of that, let's just optimize a little bit. So I'm also optimizing when I'm telling you these things. Okay, we are going to use local positions. and then we are just going to check if the click is valid, and if it's valid then we are going to add this to the list by checking what is valid or not. So it just if if the drag is still on the image, or the drag is getting out of the image, because it's not necessary that image will also always cover the majority part or complete part of screen. So for that purpose we are just checking if the point dragged is still on the above, is it above the image or not. So now we are going to create one more, I can say, function. It is just as acting as button inside our app bar. So just like I said, it is not the good UI or something. You can improve it more if you want. So if image is loaded, and we are still not ready to crop the image, then you have to just return icon button, so here in this part we are just going to make it async, and here we are going to set state that the image is ready to be cropped now. And then we are going to take the screenshot of it, and we are just going to check if it is null. If it's not null, then we are going to save this. So that's the reason why we are using this. Here we are using log. Okay, so this is a new, I can say, function added to developer library, which you can use to log. This will not log something in, I can say, the version where you want to submit it to the company or on Play Store, and this will just log only when it is running in developer mode. Okay, so now we can just import it here. By this time it should get it. Okay, so now this is just basic something that will take care of bottom bar, just adding buttons. So yeah, just we are going to change the value of rotation variable. Okay. So to rotate right here, we have to increase the value of rotator, and then we, if we want to rotate left, then we have to just decrease the value of rotator. It's just because it depends on the quarters, this quarter part of the screen. So according to that it is built. So now we are just finally coming to the scaffold part. Here the bar. Just I said, anything is not perfect here because the app wasn't built for videos, it was part of internship. Okay, so the whole, now we are going to go main.dart. So this is the main.dart, and the whole app is ready. So if you now run this, you will just receive the part which you saw in the beginning. Okay guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you found it helpful, subscribe so that I can produce more videos. At least leave a like if you found it useful. Keep following for more project. Keep subscribing and turn on the notification icon. Bye.